Leos, welcome to your monthly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for June of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link because the signs are different. All right, so Leo, we got a lot going on this month. I'm going to talk about the most important aspects. We have sign changes, retrogrades, directs. So for a more detailed look, do check out your weekly where I go into the specifics of the month. But this should give you a very good general picture about what to expect and what are some important key dates with these aspects. So let's start by looking at where the planets are at the beginning of the month. We've got the Sun and Venus, so your ruler and Venus, in your 10th house at the beginning. So I think there's a lot of focus in terms of either your career or your public life or your productive life in some sense coming into this month. And I think that's a great area for you to be focused. You have a new moon there on the 4th. So around the 4th, setting intentions with that, seeing where you can cultivate some new things, some things you might enjoy, in fact, about your career, because this new moon is going to be conjoining up to Venus. All right, so maybe involving the things you enjoy, maybe involving your values, your resources, your finances, the income you derive from your work, and perhaps even your relationships, which is another Venus thing. So Venus in your 10th house is that you guys are probably connecting with relationships in career, and now you got some new beginnings probably with this, or some new insights with this that can take you into the next 6 months and 12 months. So that's the new moon. It's actually going to be forming a grand cross in the sky, so it does have this challenging energy about it. So it's good to be open to challenging ourselves, because the real solid things in life come to us when we are taking the grounded approach, when we're actually building it, working hard, and being open to that challenge, right? It's through the challenges of life we grow. So that's what this is looking like, and I think relating to that, balancing your career with your home life, working with relationships, working with yourself, your goals, balancing and working on these 4 key areas, because that's the Grand Cross is going to be in those houses for you, I think is going to be very important around that new moon. But again, it's all about it being about these new beginnings with your career. Now on the 7th, we got Mercury then going into that Taurus, so you'll probably start to think more about career from this point onward, whereas leading up to it, you may have been thinking more about philosophy or what's possible in life, spirituality or whatnot. So then your mind comes in here. So for the whole month, the 7th onward, you've got Mercury. So this is the planet of thinking, of understanding, of coming up with solutions, and working on it, just really getting into the nitty-gritty of it, I think can be great with Mercury. Now on the 9th, we have Pluto trending up to the North Node, which is going to be the shift of our life path direction here around the 9th. And I think for you guys, this might be very impactful because it's the North Node in your sign. So this year and for the next 2 years, really, you have this new energy now for you to be cultivating your independence, right? Yourself, your first house, your self-image, your independence, your goals, the things that are important to you in life. You got a lot of this positive energy here, a lot of support for you to be focusing on, cultivating these more independent things in your life. So around the 9th, you do have this powerful change, this perhaps willingness to see things in terms of how they can change, how you can change, and that can be very supportive to whatever you might be hopefully continuing to develop with yourself and your goals this month and onward, these next 2 years. Now on the 12th, we have Mars trending up to Chiron. So there is some healing taking place specifically with what you've been reflecting on in terms of your communication. Mars has been retrograde in your 3rd house. You guys are probably learning more about communication, learning more about your mind, how you think about things, maybe relearning, rethinking things. This is the 3rd house of thinking and of communication with Mars here. So you guys have been very direct with your communications, but you're learning a lot about that. Been very direct, probably very intent on understanding things, learning things, but reflecting on that. So that kind of thing, whatever it is for you, could be very healing around the 12th. I think there's a bit of that confidence in terms of what you can learn, what you can teach, what you can share with others around the 12th. Now on the 14th, Neptune goes retrograde. And so this is a Neptune in your 7th house of relationships. So there's been this, over many years, this importance of you guys having faith and trust, surrendering, letting go of the relationship stuff. And so it's through that surrendering and letting go that a tremendous amount of peace is actually coming into your life with relationships in specific relationships, you'll probably notice that's creating much more acceptance, unconditionality in those relationships, which can certainly come through when you're letting go, when you have that surrender and that faith and trust. So now, for about the next 6 months, it's a good time to reflect on that, rethink, reflect on relationships. And then on the 17th and 18th, we have Saturn squaring up to that Neptune. So this has been ongoing since November of last year. And so with this one, there's this uncertainty about the relationships in terms of what you're cultivating here. So again, working on the acceptance, working on letting go, I think can help you see where your direction is, where you're headed. And I think more specifically with whatever it is that you're really serious on or really intent on building involving your home, your family, or your health right now with Saturn in your 4th. It's so important for you guys to be really building your roots and your foundations in life. Although it may feel limiting, although it may feel like there's a lot of hard work or there's a huge mountain you got to climb to do it, it's an excellent time for these next couple of years to do that, to build those foundations and structures. And I think around the 17th and 18th, again, letting go, just understanding that there's a divine process, there's something that maybe you're not seeing or whatever, that by connecting to presence, by letting go, you can flow with the river and might take you into a new direction that you didn't expect or you didn't see before up to this point. But again, it's been ongoing, right? So maybe you have, but I think with this aspect, I think it's going to be insightful. I think not necessarily intellectual, but there's a feeling, there's a knowing that comes into the picture, which I think helps you guys understand more about what this means for you, specifically with letting go and what you're building in these areas. Now, on the 17th and 18th, also, Venus is going to be going into Gemini. And so that shift is going to be a little bit more about you guys enjoying your groups or friends or community things. Some of you enjoying your ideals, cultivating your ideals, your hopes and wishes, can be attracting some of that stuff. And on the 20th, the sun goes into that 11th house as well. So by the 20th, you're going to be gaining more energy, gaining more prana, getting involved within your community or social media or technology, innovativeness, progressiveness, and your hopes and wishes is a good area of focus too. This is the future, the 11th house, what you can cultivate in the future in terms of what you idealize and what you want, both for yourself and your community. It's always related to your role in terms of the community. So that energy is shifting, and so there also could be the shift from more of the career stuff, which I think is still going to be the case because you're going to have Mercury there. But definitely this shift, the career stuff, to I think thinking more about the value that you derive from your career, more than likely, because the 11th from the 10th, usually that shift is, what are we deriving from our career? What are we deriving from our productive efforts? And you seeing where you can attract and cultivate more of either finances from your work or whatever it is you enjoy through your work in that sense. Now that's going to be that 20th, and also on the 20th, which is a very important date, we've got Jupiter conjoining up to the North Node. And so with this one, this has been going on since January. And so there's these possibilities that we're seeing about the life path. You guys could be feeling very optimistic about what you can accomplish, about your independent energy, again, with that first house. So it's great. For some of you, it could be opportunities to expand your horizons, to be direct, assertive, whatever it is, to pursue your goals. All right, but in either case, all of you should be seeing what's possible around the 20th, especially because it's an illuminating time, because on the 20th, we have a full moon as well. Now, the full moon illumination is probably going to be involving your home life, your family life, or your health. So it could be a high point, a culmination of these things if you've been working on this stuff or thinking about it for the past 6 months. So you're seeing that. It's a good status check. See how are your roots going in life, how you can shift into a new direction. There's probably some things that you're going to want to let go of, and there's some things that you want to continue to cultivate with that. And also involving your sense of self-expression. You guys are probably going to have this clear idea or concept about what you enjoy in life, what you're passionate about, or how to express yourself in a way that's more in alignment with who you truly are, which is great. All right, and it's about tapping into that playful, lighthearted, it's your house, 5th house, playful, lighthearted aspect of life, entertaining, being entertained, letting that light shine. And with the full moon here, you guys can really see what this could be or what you can continue to cultivate regarding those matters. Now, the 26th is going to have Jupiter trining up to Pluto. Again, a powerful aspect. So around the 26th, there is this change with your perspective on things. I think it's change with your perspective on self. And maybe you guys will be letting go of old belief systems, old habit patterns that are no longer serving you, involving yourself, involving your goals, involving your independence. It's deep because it's Pluto, but it's very supportive, right, to that Jupiter, where you're changing your worldview about what's possible with you. Now, the 27th is going to have Chiron going retrograde. So for about the next 5 months, it's a good time to reflect on and think about where you've been doing this healing with intimacy and connecting to the deeper aspects of life, and maybe even shared resources, or if that's the case for you. But you know, fundamentally, it's a bit about being intimate with self, and so there might be some wounds around that and insecurities or whatever. So that's already been going on. So now it's just reflecting on that, rethinking about that stuff for the next 5 months. Now on the 29th, that's when Mars goes direct, so there's a lot of this forward-moving energy. And again, this is involving your communication. So with everything you're learning about your mind, communications, or your practical knowledge this month, all of it starts to move forward by the end of the month. And it takes time, of course, going into July, but there's that shift on the 29th, and you'll probably notice going into July a lot more of this directness, assertiveness, independence when it comes to your communication and what you want to learn or exchange or socialize with others. All right, Leo, so have a fantastic month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.